Here we go. Stephen Foster Week. Go to jollyrogerukulele.com and all the sheet music and stuff is posted there. And we're going to get started on playing a little Steve today. For better or for worse, I suppose. Post the link up here. We'll wait for everybody to load in. It's 102. We'll start in about 3, possibly 4 minutes. So if you're watching the recording of this, feel free to fast forward. And we'll get started there. Make sure the link is working properly. Click. And everything's working great. All right. Aloha from the Big Island. Lenny is actually in Hawaii with a ukulele. How lucky is he? We are not there. So, yeah, good to see you, Lanny. Missed you a couple days last week. I think you guys were out doing stuff. I'm not eating today because I'm an idiot when I set up my schedule. I'm like, you could just do them all back to back. It'll be fine. And now every day is like, oh, God, how am I going to get my lunch in? Clearly, I haven't missed too many of them, though, so don't worry. Don't worry about me. I'm getting my lunches in. A little bit of cottage cheese, a little bit of tomatoes, a little bit of pepper. Perfect meal. I forgot to put it in the refrigerator when I got here. So it's been sitting out here on the counter for 2 hours. And it's entirely possible I'm going to be dead here shortly from botulism. Hope not. I don't know. The way things are going, I don't know. Maybe that doesn't sound so bad. Let's put this here. A little bit of tuna salad too. Not tuna, egg salad. I should eat that before it goes bad. Who else wandered in here? Hey, Vic. Hey, Valerie. Evelyn. Let's see. Yeah, that was what was for lunch. Yeah. Let's see. Brandon was killing it in harmonica today, by the way. We are, those of you who aren't coming to harmonica, what the heck, man. But more importantly, this morning we had all new music, and it was one of them's Over the Rainbow, and then we had Brahms' Lullaby, Colorado Trail, Morning is Broken, something else. Oh, For He's a Jolly Good Fellow. Absolutely delightful. You're like, I don't want to play harmonica. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. It's awesome. Let's see. Who else has wandered in here? Jack and Barbara in. Terry's here. Hey, Terry. Sandy. Lindy in for more. Banjolele at the ready. We're going to talk about banjoleles. Let's see. Lynn in from New Jersey. Can you imagine? Let's see. So exciting. Hey, Cindy. Diane. Barb. Another exciting week. I don't know if it's that exciting. It's pretty exciting. Renee will be missing in action. She is moving to New Mexico. Renee, I lived in New Mexico for 8 years, and it was the longest 12 years of my life. It was brutal down there. Hopefully you will have a far better experience than I had. And Elizabeth made it in. How exciting. Good to see you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, your job is to sit and just enjoy. Elizabeth just wrote 51 songs in less than 90 days, 80 days. She's exhausted. She's been keeping me posted on her progress, and it is incredible the stuff she's created. So very excited to have you, Elizabeth. And so feel honored in some way that you're like, okay, I got that done. All right, check. It's amazing. Really good. Really nice. Really good to have you. Vic, let's see. Vic says you are missing out if not doing. Yeah, you are missing out if you're not doing harmonica. we've had 18 lessons, and all 18 of them have been a absolute model of how to play harmonica. We we're killing it over there in the harmonica department, aren't we, peeps? Marcia is sitting out. Her family is in the house. She is sitting in the car in the driveway with her phone playing harmonica. That's how much that is the level of awesome that we are getting in over there. Excuse me. I I usually don't have allergies, but man, oh man, I've been sneezing like crazy lately. My allergies are spring. It's cottonwood is what I'm usually allergic to. I think there's still cruds floating around in the sky. Let's see. Christine, Red here. Red is here and present. Lynn, believe I have enough. Yeah. Lynn's point is not unimportant. Look, it is plenty. I don't need anything else aggravating me. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Linda's in the house, up from British Columbia. Good to see you, Linda. I've been researching what it would take to move to Alberta, how I could get to Calgary. British Columbia is too expensive, so I'm thinking Calgary. They ever open the border and they're like, yeah, all right, we're letting Americans in. I'll be like, okay, I'm coming. Annie's in. Minette's in at Chicago. She's had a sudden trip to Chicago. Hope things are going well for you, Minette. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Elizabeth goes by Sam. I've always called her Elizabeth. Hey, Kat, welcome in. Pauline, Chris, Banjo. Gary and Diane are ready to rock up in Washington. Carol is here. Carol, I wasn't too far from, well, I was pretty far from your house, but I was in the mountains this weekend. And Cindy. No ocean in Alberta. I know, right? I don't like the ocean. I've been to the ocean a few times. There's weird stuff in the ocean, and it wraps around your legs. Ugh. And you walk on the beach, and you always step on something. Yeah, those of you who've grown up around the ocean, good for you. I am not a fan. I am not sold. I find the ocean to be creepy. It's full of things that kill you. It's just not my thing. Some of you guys live places where there's mosquitoes. That's the other thing. So I'm looking around. I'm like, all right, if I ever have to just get out, where am I going to go? All right, first rule, can't be any mosquitoes. That's the first rule, which eliminates about 3/4 of the places on the planet. All right, there we go. All right, so hopefully the sound is okay. The microphone just sat right here out of view. I am trying to deal with the fact that the sun now shines in this window. I guess I never knew how bright this was, but I put a board in there. It's a little less bright. I'm going to order some darker curtains. And so in the meantime, my face is kind of glowing. You're not here to look at my face anyway, thank God. You're here to play some Stephen Foster. So let's get up our stuff. We're going to play one song, then we'll have website announcements, and then we'll play the other song. How about that? So let's start with Beautiful Dreamer. Some of you are not aware of this song, and I certainly was not prior to becoming a ukuleleist. And then I found this song, and I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good song. And this is from 1862, published after he died. The Shark's House. Yeah, there's sharks in the ocean. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but they come up and you're just standing there in the ocean and they eat your leg off. Yeah, that's the other thing that's in the ocean. Ocean. You people in your ocean. All right. Beautiful Dreamer. It's surprising when you read the words of this, you're like, this doesn't feel like it was written in 1862, but it was. And so he is just in love with this young person, whoever he's singing to. Okay. Now we have a little intro and conclusion are the same thing, more or less. So there's that. Chords, there's a D chord in this one. Da, 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 da. And then a G chord. Da, 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 da. A chord. Da, 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 da. And guys, that's it. That's all the chords there are. Okay, that's genius. 3 chords, nothing else. Words that are worth singing 150 years later. And 1860, 1960, yeah, 150-ish years later. Words that stood the test of time. Usually they're love, right? Or yeah, that's about it. And or funerals. Love and funerals last a while, and very simple chord structure, but still getting a beautiful melody out of a very basic chord structure. So let's talk about just the intro. 5/4/5. And it doesn't really matter what you play because this intro is all over the place. So we just grab 5/4/5, whichever fingers makes the most sense to you. 5/4/5, and then 0, let it ring, and then 2, 0/3/0. Yeah. Remember, if you are playing melody and you see a tied note, you got to count because you're going to come in too early otherwise. So you see a tied note. That's 6 beats on this song. I didn't mention we're in 3/8, guys. 3/8 is the same as 3/4, except that instead of counting quarter notes as one, you're going to have eighth notes counting as one. So, for example, measure 1 has 3/8 notes in it. 1, 2, 3. And usually, when you see 3/8 time, usually the song's going to be quite a bit slower. So instead of 120, you're going to see 70s and 80s and that type of thing. Um, um, the song was originally written in 9/8, and if you can imagine counting 9/8 among students of ukulele is a bit of a stretch. I originally wrote this out in 9/8 for my guitar orchestra, and we played hell counting it. And I'm like, all right, fine, let's try it in 3, and it turns out it works just fine. So 9/8 and 3/8 there. I don't really know why anybody would write in 9/8 unless they were really going to take advantage of beats 4 and 5, and he does not in this piece. So it's so 3/8's fine. Okay, just think of it as 3 beats in a measure. It doesn't really matter what uh, the eighth means. Okay, 5/4/5. So when you get to measure 5 and you got that big old long 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You need to count in your head, or I promise you're going to hit that 0 early. Okay, measure 7, 0, 10, 9. Another 9, 9, 7, 6, 7. Slide all the way down to 2, 4, 5, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so make sure you're counting your long notes when you're playing melody. The other nice thing about this piece, because it's so beautiful, blah, da, da, dum, da, 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 dum. When you have the opportunity, when you're up here at 10 and 9, slide your 7, slide down to 7, slide down to 2. So do a lot of that sliding on there. If you're playing the melody line, it's just going to make it all just sort of smooth in together. Your audience may not hear it because ukuleles are very loud, but you'll know you're doing it. Wah, 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 wah. And you know, when I first start teaching you in Frere Jacques, I say, don't use one finger and slide it around. You'll cut yourself open. But still, that piece of advice is still true. Be mindful when you're sliding your finger around that you can cut your finger open. Hopefully, at this point, you've developed a few calluses on the end, and now you can get away with sliding up and down a little bit. And it'll just sound kind of cool. It sounds a little mushy when you do this. Okay, all right. Let's go to the main melody line. Beautiful Dreamer from the Fives. 0, 2, 030, 2. I got a wasp in here. 0422 0332 022 3 1 2 3, and again. 2 3 1 2 3. 2 3 1 2 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you would go back and repeat it, right? You go back to 12. Don't go all the way back to the beginning. Orange highlighter right up and down on the top of 12 to make sure that you go, your eye tracks back to measure 12. It'll tend, you'll rush up to measure 1 and find out you're not supposed to be there. Well, now you've missed 2 beats trying to find where you are supposed to be. So just put a piece of highlighter at the beginning of measure 12, and then your eyes go right to it, and you don't miss anything. Okay, come back through second time, playing in the second verse, blah, 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 blah. At measure 57, let's bring in that ending one more time so that we have a chance to hear what that sounds like. 57, count in 3. 1, 2, 3. Two, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that 10 and a couple of 9s right after that. Really pretty. It's why, people, a lot of times you don't hear this song because it takes a little bit of a singer who knows what they're doing to be able to play all the way down to these low notes that we're playing in this song. And then way up there, right? Beautiful, beautiful dreamer, awaken to me. So you don't hear it a lot because of the range of the voicing. Even though it's a really pretty tune, got a really nice melody to it. Let's see. Who else wanted in here? Oh, Cindy says, wear shoes when you go to the beach. Just don't go to the beach. Patty, I am very bright today. I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, you need to watch a video. All right. So I have kept up with everybody. Wear shoes. You can wear shoes and the shark will still eat your leg off. Now, let's talk about the, what do you call it? Tough uke. Nice D chord. Okay, let's go to the top. Hey, Mike, welcome in. Mike has a new music stand. All right, bar chord here, pinky on 5. And you can do just switch them, or you can also do 5, 4, 5. Slide your pinky back and forth. Either one works fine. If you slide your pinky, you kind of get that wah wah, which is kind of fun. Or just switch fingers out. And then a regular D chord. Let it ring, and then partial D chord. 0, 2, 0, 3. Wait, that's so funny. That sharp, that D sharp there has no business being in this song, and yet there it is, and it absolutely works. And then you go to a G chord. I put in some arpeggio notes here just to fill the space. That way you don't come in early. A chord. 10, 9, bar 9, 7, 6, 7, 2, 4. And then a nice D chord here at the end. 2, 2, 5, 2, 2. Okay, that's it. That's the intro. Then measure 12. As you can tell already, it's going to get a little repetitive, but it's a good repetitive. It's really nice. Okay, the bar chord on D. Let's just play from 12. Nothing else shows up. I think there's one little weird thing on the next page, but let's just play the beginning here from 12. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 2, 3. A chord. things change a tiny bit, not a ton. I blew it. Sorry, I missed the measure. Let's go to 34. 1, 2, 3. There's nice sevens. Twos and fours. And then you would repeat here, but let's pretend we just played through the second time. Go on to 57. 1, 2, 3. Isn't it pretty? It's just a pretty little melody. The whole thing works. The whole thing works. One of the things I'm doing on these D chords, the little arpeggio patterns, like 32 and 44 and 55, I'm putting a 5 on the top instead of a 0. Just playing it earlier today, I thought, that sounds prettier if I put a 5 on the top instead of that 0. So I'm actually putting in the bar chord shape on those. You don't have to. What's there sounds just fine. It just sounds a little bit more fun to have a 5 there instead of those zeros. And so you can decide if you want to make that change or not. If I repost this music, I'll change those to 5s. I guess it happens there at 39 as well. And then the nice part about this piece, another one of these pieces where you don't want to rush, take your time, play it at the speed that it comes to you. And the only thing I don't like in it at all is there's this A chord that at 31, where it's just sort of leading into leading into the B section there. I don't know. I just don't think it sounds kind of. But other than that, I think it's a really nice piece of music. So we can't fix it at this point. Stephen's been dead a few years, and so we're going to stick with what he wrote rather than what Gary thinks he ought to have written. And that's what I know about this song. Let's see. Finally, we're playing Stephen Foster. Vicky is finally in. All right. So that's Beautiful Dreamer. I don't know if I should tell you anything else that's interesting in my mind about it. Jeanie with Light Brown Hair is quite a bit more challenging piece. I want to get onto that. Let's take just a quick mention, since all of you guys are here at this moment. One, I won't be here tomorrow. That's why you're getting 2 songs today, and we're so smashing them in. Okay. I think of the 2 arrangements, this one will be, the Beautiful Dreamer, is a little bit easier to play. Should be really pretty coming out of your ukulele. I'm really excited about how it's working out. Just sort of laid in there really nice, as if he wrote it on a ukulele. Ukulele would have been invented 45 years after he wrote his song. So I don't think he wrote it on a ukulele, but maybe he had a 4-string banjo or something tuned to reentrant tuning. So anyway, I will not be here tomorrow, so that's why you're getting 2 pieces today. And so we can reserve this time slot to play Jeanie with the Light Brown Hair. That's what we would have been doing had I been here. But I'm going to jury duty tomorrow. We'll see what happens. If something weird happens where I get stuck for multiple days down there, I will post a note on the website keeping you updated as what's going on. The other songs that I think I'm going to post are Hard Comes Come No More, Camptown Races, Oh Susanna, and My Old Kentucky Home. So I think those are the other 4 songs that I'm probably going to put together, unless one of you is passionate about something that I don't have up there. There's plenty more Stephen Foster stuff that's probably worth playing that I don't have there. I should take just a moment. This is a decent place to pause and just talk about this for a very brief second. In the current climate that we are in, Stephen Foster is definitely not one of those musicians that you want to just be putting into people's faces. If you like Stephen Foster and you like this music and you want to play it at your house, you're going to have some of it. His melodies are first rate. The sort of the sappy I love my home kind of business is absolutely meets a certain need. He was the first professional American songwriter. He was a gigantic personality back in the early in the pre-Civil War era, like right as the Civil War was getting started, he was the musician. And so he's a big deal. He was a big deal. Lots of other, then I put a big old comma, and there's a however after that. Stephen Foster was a character of his age, and so he did a ton of writing that was meant for minstrel shows, which are not necessarily a positive influence on America. They were very popular at the time. People would go them and all this, but a lot of his lyrics were written as if it was supposed to be spoken by a slave or a very poor black person, and so they are really offensive at this point. So be mindful of that if you decide to go out and play this with somebody. And I would say that for the most part, people are probably not going to be spending a ton of time studying Stephen Foster just because of the general overall, like I say, at the time in his life, he probably wasn't as bad as he appears at this point, but at this point it looks pretty not good. The other thing is that and he died very young, 37. And it appears, depending on how you look at this, that he either killed himself or he just died during. He definitely had some alcohol problems, and somehow his neck got cut, and he died from this neck wound when he was at home alone. And so there is some thought of, well, maybe he just had an accident and maybe he killed himself. I have read, and I don't know this to be absolutely true, that a lot of men were struggling with going to fight in the Civil War, and many of them took their own lives. And so, while we focus on in this group the music, all right, super sad. Jeanie with the light brown hair is going to be the harder of the 2 pieces to play, and I do think it's probably worth the work that goes into it. And I do think as we are playing this one, the skill set on the ukulele is particularly fun to work on because there's a couple moments it's like, God darn, that's hard. The other thing to know about this piece is that there was a musician strike in 1940s or so. They were playing music on the radio and not getting paid for it. And the musicians want to get paid for it. And so they struck. And then so at that point, all that the radio stations had to play were public domain songs. Well, Jeanie with her light brown hair was one of those songs, and so it got a ton of airplay in the early radio days, and that's why a lot of your parents or grandparents grew up knowing this song because it was pretty popular during the musicians' strike. So all this history that goes into this stuff is kind of fascinating. Yeah, my old Kentucky home. Well, honestly, I went through a handful of these tunes, and I'm like, well, I'm not working on that one. It's just it's a different era, and we wish people had been different, and we wish life had worked out differently. But on the more meaningful side, some of these songs have gorgeous melodies, and so that alone is worth studying them on this instrument. How about that? That's my excuse anyway. All right. Jeanie with the light brown hair. Let's talk about your chords. Your chords here are your F chord, right? Da-da-da-da-da-da. We love that. And B flat, as you know, usually comes along when you're playing F. I like you to play a full bar and with an A shape in front to work. That's what I like. But you'll see me most time I grab a half bar and these, which is perfectly acceptable. A lot of times is easier and cleaner. This just doesn't teach your hands properly for the other bar chords that you're going to end up having to work on. So B flat, D minor. We're going to have both D minors in this. So we got the D minor here, the open D minor. Okay, if you're singing, and if you're the other one that we've run into a lot, big old bar on 5, ring finger on 7. That's another D minor. That shows up in measure 3, and you're actually even going to have to add your pinky on in 8. So, okay, so that's going to be that tough D minor that we've run into quite often over the last few months. Other chords, you got a G7 there at measure 4. Okay, and it's oddly, it's not uncommon to see a G7 in an F major piece, even though it's being pulled out of the C key of C tradition, but you'll often see a G7 showing up leading into the 4th of this F, key of F. So it's kind of fascinating. You see that sometimes, even though it doesn't really belong there. Measure 12, you have an A minor. That's one we can live with. And if I remember right, that's going to be it, except we do have Renee's chord down at measure 23, the bar on 5, pinky on 8. And there's your last A F chord to wrap it up. Okay, Jeanie with the light brown hair. Let's play some of the melody. It gets, I don't know if it really gets repetitive. Jeanie, by the way, has light brown hair, and she's wonderful. You should know that the further you go into the song, she is dead, and we're going to miss her. And so that's what's going on here. And don't be too sad. She got a nice song out of her. Okay, here, let's start with the intro. Similar to the other piece, there's a nice intro. Then we're going to play through all the way down through 21, come back, and we're supposed to play it 3 times. We will probably only ever play it twice. The first verse is the only verse I ever knew in studying this to put this together for you guys. There are 3 verses dead on, and they're okay. They just get sadder. All right, so let's play the intro, just the melody, please. 1, 2, 3. Keep going, 5. Turn the page. Beautiful. Really nice piece of music. Just the melody just really floats through there. The 8s jump in and kind of beat you up a tiny bit. Just make yourself some notes on that melody line when you see those 8s coming up. Hey, how am I going to attack that with my fretboard properly? Again, we've talked about it quite often, but if you have an 8 and that's your high note, probably plant your index finger on 5. And then you've got 5, 6, 7, and 8. Everything's ready there. Unusual when you have a 5 and an 8 that you would have a 6, but the 7 is very common in that situation. And so you've got 3 of the major notes that you might likely run into in that situation. I don't know if there's anything else really to talk about. Okay, that's that. By the way, I did mention in the goofy email. I didn't send out an email. By the way, some of you were like, "Hey, I didn't get my email today." I didn't send one out last night. I just ran out of time. But I did put on the little sign. I said, "Bring your banjolele." We are going to be doing "Oh Susanna," and it's about bringing your, playing your banjo, right? And so we'll talk about banjoleles over the next couple days, probably Thursday or maybe Friday. I'll bring in. I happen to own the Stradivarius of banjoleles. I own the most expensive one you can buy, which is not very expensive because most people hate the banjolele. But the banjolele takes a ukulele setup and just puts a banjo head on it, and so you play it exactly like a ukulele, but it sounds kind of like a banjo. And so it's one way to get that banjo sound without actually having to learn how to play a banjo. Banjo is an instrument that is unique unto itself. The stuff you learn on banjo does not apply to other instruments, other fretted instruments. And so outside of arpeggio picking, all of the chords are different, the tuning is different, the whole thing is set up completely different than other instruments. And so banjo, if you are a banjo player, you sort of make a commitment to being a banjo player, and that's all you do. But whereas if you have a banjolele, you can still play ukulele, you can still play guitar, you can still play baritone ukulele, and they're all set up the same way. And then you just have this clanky, weird sound that some of you love. Now, I will tell you, I love to make fun of banjoleles, and so I get a little bit of pushback from my crew that loves banjoleles. I think that they're wrong and I'm right, but we'll see. We covered many. Yeah. So, oh, interesting. Even if in British Columbia, yeah, Stephen Foster is a big deal. He is a big deal. Let's not. I don't want to give you any notion that he's not a big deal. He is a big deal, but it's a very complicated history and gets ever more complicated as we move into the future. And so, it's not that I'm against playing Stephen Foster or that I don't think you should do. I just think you should be mindful that there are some sensitivities here that it's not cool. When you go look at the history of American folk music through the late 17th and especially through the 19th, I'm sorry, let me get the numbers right, late 18th century and really the entire 19th century, there's some very troubling music that's out there. And you're just like, I don't think I got other choices. And that's true in classical music too, not just folk music. There's some really horrible classical composers that wrote some just shocking things, and you're just like, well, I could do that, or I could do somebody else, And so there's that whole thing. It just be, I'm not telling you Stephen Foster's not important or not good. I love this stuff, but just know that it's got a complicated past. Still have a dream of marching band. Kay says, on to more important issues. Marching banjolele orchestra. All right. All right, let's see. I'd like to join. Yeah. If he covered Canadian greats like Gordon Lightfoot, all he said was that he'd heard of his name, Gordon. He's never heard of Gordon Lightfoot? Oh my gosh! My dad used to put him on hi-fi. He's a great singer, by the way. Flute teacher friend. Marching band of penny whistles. Very nice. Look at all this. Look at all this music we got going. Let's finish this song up. All right. 5. Let's play the tough uke. Start with these. You're going to have your F chord with your thing, but you got to start on 5, right? Can't reach. For tough uke, we'll go slow. We'll talk about it as we go along. 5. F chord with your 3. Open. At your B flat. Do the best you can. Open. 3, 1. F chord. O2. Back to your F chord. Let it ring a little bit. Place an F chord. 3, O. There's that famous D minor. Bar on 5, ring on 7, pinky on 8. And that's a lot of work. If that's going to be too much, if that's going to make you sad, just play the 8. Just play the 8 and move on. Okay? Pinky off. F chord with your pinky. G chord. Hit the 1. And little C chord. Okay? And then we do it all again. D minor. F chord. F chord with the 3. 5. F chord with your 3. B flat. F chord. O2. F chord. G chord. Pinky. All the way down to the low D minor. Reach up to grab the 5 and then come back down with your to the A minor and a 3. G7. And then C chord. Here's the harder part. I guess by harder I mean easier part. Measure 15. Bar on 5. Ring on 7. Back to the main idea. There's that hard D minor with your pinky. G7. Press in on that C7 just a little bit because it's only there to kick you back up to play the whole thing again. And again, you're supposed to play through this 3 times. We will probably only play through it twice. I will mention very quickly at measure 15. Measure 15. You've got on here a D minor, and then you've got this 3. And then you kind of come back up to 5. Then you got to come back up to 8. And then you got to go down here. There's nothing wrong with that arrangement. But if you want, you can also do your D minor. You can put your pinky on 8 of the 2nd string. And that way you can just hang on to that D minor. Because you're going to be playing that 8 on the 1st string there in just a second. So what you end up with is a D minor, 8 on the 2nd string. You've already holding down the 5 on the 1st string, and then move your pinky down to the 8 on the 1st string. And then you've been able to accomplish that entire little thing there just by holding on to the D minor the entire time. And then drop down to your F chord. If I ever post this again, I would put that as an 8 on the 2nd string rather than a 3 on the 1st string. And just there's less motion that way, and it's just a little easier to play. Theoretically, okay? All right, we're going to play it one more time, but we're only going to play it one time through. We're going to skip the repeat at measure 21, and we're going to play 22, and then we'll talk about the next couple of days. Okay, so one time through, all the way to the bottom, whatever speed, whatever way you want to play, perfectly fine. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3. Second ending. Just beautiful. Just really fine piece of music. Now, let's talk about next couple of days. I am out tomorrow. So you are going to show up here just like you always do. You are going to sit down and you'll work on Beautiful Dreamer one time and Jeanie with the light brown hair one time. I, in the meantime, will be working on Hard Times Come No More, Camp Down Raises, Oh Susanna, and probably my old Kentucky home. I will give you the Old Kentucky Home. I was reading up on that one. They have also been in the very long and cumbersome process of fixing the lyrics in Kentucky. That is their state theme song, and so they have had a long tradition of having to fix Steve's lyrics, and so we will go with whatever they're working on these days. And so just again, I'm a huge fan of Stephen Foster. Love this music, absolutely love it. But just note that it's not necessarily. It's got some issues. So there's that. I will see all of you on Wednesday. Theoretically, if I seem crazy enough to not get on a jury, no, I don't do that. I figure if they need me, they need me. But hopefully, I will be a short situation, and then we will continue Stephen Foster Week. And remember, guys, we are going to bring back for the Friday concert Blue Hawaii, Sweet Leilani, and Ukulele Lady. And so that, by the way, our tradition of music coming from Hawaii is also quite troubled. So this will be the week of troubled music with a troubled past. That's what this week will be. We will play that on Friday as well. And I think that's what we need to talk about. I think that's what we need to know. You got two really nice arrangements. Both of these arrangements are really, really beautiful and really worth your time. Hopefully your fingers are getting where they're just like, yeah, we're getting so used to this. This is what we do. You know, this is how it goes. And again, those of you guys that are newer, please know tough uke is an acquired taste. So you don't have to play that. You can absolutely play the chords. Absolutely, playing melody is the most important. Tonight, guys, remember we have orchestra, which is where we learn to get you. Where I'm working on getting you battle-proof and fast. That's the thing that I work on in orchestra on Monday nights. I think all the music that I'm going to get done. I was hoping to get one more up, but I'm not going to get it done probably. And we'll see how this afternoon goes. Is posted, so you can go grab that and be ready for tonight. It's again, we're just trying to play things fast, accurate, beautiful tone, and in perfect timing and all of that good stuff. Starting off slow, speeding it up, slowing it down, making you have to adjust to the correct tempo based on what I set. And so it's one of those orchestral things that all musicians should be involved in, just so that you aren't sitting around thinking you're all that because you can play tough uke. There's another way to play that is equally important, and that's playing in an ensemble situation. So that'll give you a chance to do that. That's tonight at 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and hopefully I'll see a bunch of you guys there. All right, kids, have a wonderful day, and it looks like I almost already are out of here. I talk too much, as you know. I'm going to work on the lighting so that I don't glow in the dark around here. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to go get a bigger. I'm going to fix the drapes or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out. Have a wonderful day. Manette, thank you. I will see you soon. Evelyn, Terry, Kay, Cindy. Oh, they always play. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Patty, good to see you. Fran, Christine. Oh, Christine, glad you're here. Wander through the website, Christine. There's plenty to keep you busy. Send me an email. Let me know. Say hi, and I'll get you kind of set up a little bit. I'm glad you made it. It's about time you got here, Christine. Elizabeth, so good to see you. So delight. Congratulations on 51. Seriously, big deal. Chris, good to see you. Pauline, yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys Wednesday. Have a great night, Kat. Lanny, we love the Foster, right? We love him. Wish you would have written in normal English. Lindy, we'll see you soon. Annie, good to see you. Vicky, Linda, a few minutes, right? We're gonna head it off to baritone ukulele. Some of you are into that. Lynn, I'll see you Wednesday. Barbara, Christine, you bet. Carol, see you in 10. Yeah, Mike, hopefully that music stand held up your music. All right, talk to you guys. Some of you baritone, some of you tomorrow, some of you tonight. Have a great evening.